Hey guys, welcome to All Around Joe Podcast, where we optimize your human performance from my personal experience as an athlete, coach, and all-around self-improvement junkie. In this edition of the All Around Joe Podcast, I'm going to be talking about my 7 favorite movements that you can do almost anywhere. So if you're watching this, I am walking through a park in Twin Falls, Idaho, and I'm going to be showing you actually what these movements are as I go through this podcast. So in this park, we have some basic things that you're going to find almost anywhere that you can use as tools for doing great movements. Before we get into that, this podcast is brought to you by the Get Better Project, my online at-home training program, which you can do in a park, outside of a van, in your small gym at home, wherever you would like to do it. We have bodyweight workouts, we have dumbbell-only workouts, we have full small gym workouts that we post every single day. If you'd like to try that out, head over to thegetbetterproject.com/2 weeks, and we'll give you 2 weeks of our whole program on the house. Go check us out. Pretty sure you'll like it. All right, guys. So the first movement of the 7 is a squat jump. So a squat jump is basically taking your basic squat movement. So you're going to go down and up, but you lift off of the ground slightly into the air. All right. So it's just this simple up and down movement pattern, and you string a few of those together. And I guarantee that you're going to find that those are much harder than you would have ever expected. And then tailing onto that, so my second favorite movement is the jumping lunge, which is just like you do that crazy regular lunge, and then you jump into the next lunge step. Now, the interesting thing about this is if you take these two movements together and incorporate some of their regular counterparts, you have something called a leg blaster. And if you're ever without any equipment but need to get an awesome workout in, do a few rounds of leg blasters. A leg blaster, one leg blaster, is 20 air squats, 20 standing lunges, 20 jumping lunges, 20 squat jumps. That's one. So do a couple of those in a row, and I guarantee it's going to be crazy hard for you. You're going to get much better workout than you ever thought was possible. So taking those two things together, you'll get pretty darn sore, and you'll get a pump in those quads like nothing I've experienced in any other workout. It's pretty crazy, and it's the movement that I've actually been introduced to for getting ready for ski or snowboard season. So if you have anything that's going to be very high lactate threshold, check out the leg blaster and have fun with that one. The next movement pattern that I think is awesome that you can do anywhere is the burpee. Now, the burpee is just a regular movement that you can do anywhere you would like to, and you just need a space in the ground. And I'm talking about the full burpee. So I'm going to set up, if you guys are watching this, I'm setting up the camera a little bit further away so you can see that. So for the full burpee, you're going to go all the way down to the ground, all the way down, and then all the way up, jump and clap at the top. But you can do these things if you need to make them harder as strict. So maybe you do a strict push-up, you hop into the squat, and then you do a jump and clap at the top. So you're putting all of these different things into this particular movement, which we call the burpee. After the burpee is the pike handstand push-up, which you've probably heard of a handstand push-up. You basically invert yourself and you do a push-up. But for the pike handstand push-up, I love these because you can change the angle of your feet and make them basically as hard or easy as you would like to. So regular pike handstand push-up, which almost anybody can do, is you just pike yourself into the air, or with your butt high in the air, and then you lower your head down to the ground, and then you extend up to the top, which is great. Now, if you want to make those harder, though, you put your feet up onto an object like a picnic table, which we're going to walk over here in a second, and we're going to go ahead and see that our upper back is going to become more perpendicular to the ground, and it's going to make that harder because our feet are going to be higher off of the ground. So for the handstand or pike handstand push-up, it's not only going to make you better at handstand push-ups in general, but it's going to make you better at other pressing things and controlling your body in a gymnastics way that you probably would not have expected if you haven't done these before. I remember the first time that I did the pike handstand push-up in a gym setting as a warm-up, I couldn't believe how hard it was to actually do that pike handstand push-up. So let's go ahead and demo one of these for you with this picnic table. So you're just going to put your hands up, or hands down on the ground. You're going to put your feet up onto the bench here, and then you're going to lower yourself down on the ground and then extend just like that. So if you're watching this, you're going to get a little bit more information than if you are listening. But if you'd like to watch, go check out the YouTube channel at allaroundjoe.com/YouTube, and that will get you right to our full YouTube channel. So the pike handstand push-up is just a great way of creating variation, doing different things for your body that are going to make it easier to control in space, and will lead into the regular handstand push-up, lead into handstand walking, make you better at pressing. It's just a phenomenal movement that you can do pretty much anywhere, and you just need a ledge or a bench or something to make it a little bit harder. So we've got the squats, we've got the lunges, we have the burpees, we have the pike handstand push-ups, and next up is actually the regular push-up. So the regular push-up is great in all other aspects of it. So let's say you start out on your knees, then you move into push-up on your toes, then you move into different variations of where you put your hands. You go narrow, you go wide. You do clapping push-ups where you actually thrust yourself up into the air, clap, and then go back down. You move your feet up off of the ground, so you change the angle of the actual pushing that you're doing, and then it gets all the way up to the point where you're almost doing the pike handstand push-up, right? And you have these variations. So that's the push-up. And just so that for you guys that are watching, it's just a regular movement all the way up, all the way down, and it's not anything more complicated than what you think. But if you change how you are doing those actual movements, then they are going to create more intensity for you, which is going to create more results. Then one thing that you may not have thought of before is a picnic table GHD sit-up is my next one on the list. So on this picnic table, you simply are going to take yourself, have a seat, wrap your feet around, you're going to lean yourself back, touch the ground, and then throw yourself back up. So you're going to go down and up, and down and up. So I highly recommend that you reference this one by going over to allaroundjoe.com/YouTube. If you're listening to this, you're basically strapping your feet around the picnic table so that they're hooked in, so you're not going to fall off the back. You're inching yourself so your butt is hanging off the end of the picnic table seat, and then you're going down or lowering yourself until your hands and or head touches the ground. Make sure that you're not going to bonk your head hard on anything that's like cement there, which I've done. It's not the most fun thing to do, but then you use all of your momentum, your hands, you kick your legs to use your quads, and then you obviously use your abs in order to come up. Now, if you do this a few times a week, I guarantee that your abs are going to develop pretty close to as well as doing a GHD sit-up, and much better than doing any kind of crunches or V-ups or anything like that. It is hard though on your lower back if your abs are not strong enough, so make sure that you are doing only a couple of these at a time. You're lowering yourself down slowly. You're maybe not even doing the full range of motion if you want to get into doing these particular picnic table GHD sit-ups. All right, so we had the squats, the lunges, we've had the push-ups, we had the pike handstand push-ups, we had the burpees, we had the GHD sit-ups, and the last but not least is the actual handstand push-up. So the cool thing about handstand push-up is you really just need a wall or a tree or a post or a playground or something like that in order to do them. So for today, we're going to look around and see what we have available. That nice big tree over there looks nice. So as we walk over there, you just want to make sure that you are fully able and feeling good about getting yourself into a position against the object that you're going to be utilizing. So I've been doing this a lot. I feel comfortable getting myself into a position and that is pretty darn small or narrow. And you also need to make sure that you have a position that you're going to be able to throw your feet up into the actual object. So I'll show you right here. So there you have it, the handstand push-up against a tree, which can be done with very, very minimal equipment, make sure the tree is not going to fall over. Make sure you don't do this against a car because it can scratch the paint. But you can make this a very good movement to do in order to get that pressing from the pike handstand push-up into a regular handstand push-up. You can also, as you may have noticed, you can see that my knees can bend slightly so that you can have more control over the movement pattern. You don't have to have your knees or your feet sliding up and down like you would typically on a nice smooth wall where you would do these. So you can get creative, all right? I've done them on all kinds of different surfaces, and you can virtually do them anywhere. Even I've done them on the back of the van on the spare tire there. So your feet don't slide up and down at all. But what you do have the advantage is one of your feet can go up and down while the other one stays stable and keeps you in a secure position. You can also limit the range of motion that you do if you're just getting into these. Make sure that you secure yourself into the locked out position with your elbows before you do the handstand push-up, which is going to keep your head from hitting the ground. So I highly recommend that you're feeling good about that before you get started. And then you don't have to go all the way down. You can only start with a few inches and then work yourself to the point where your hands or your head is going all the way down to the ground. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Those are my 7 favorite movements that you do almost anywhere that we do on a regular basis. Even if you don't have any weights, they are phenomenal for getting yourself into shapes, getting yourself strong, and building up movements that will transfer into using weights and moving your body better in space in the future. If you like this podcast, let me know. Give me the thumbs up, give me a review, give me whatever it is, wherever you're watching or listening to this, if you thought it was cool. And if you have any questions or comments or concerns, you can always hit me up at joe@allaroundjoe.com or put a comment down in the show notes if you are watching or listening to this on my website. Lastly, if you would like to try out 2 free weeks of the Get Better Project, which is my online at-home training program where we have workouts just like the movements that you've seen today in the podcast or heard today in the podcast, head over to the Get Better Project. That's thegetbetterproject.com/2 weeks. And we'd love to show you around our app, Facebook group, talk to you about our athlete check-ins, and make sure that we are helping you in any way that we can. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this. The All Around Joe podcast. We optimize your human performance from my personal experience as an athlete, coach, and all-around self-improvement junkie. We'll see you on the next podcast.